Celsius.
Celsius.
Yeah. But in like in India,
Yeah.
Andhra also.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and call to order the Public Works Committee meeting of Tuesday, June 14th. Roll call, please.
Alderman Mike O'Kane.
Here.
Brenda Brown.
Present.
Bob Iverson.
Here.
Jim Pashard.
Present.
Carolyn Wands.
Present.
Heidi Wilson.
Present.
Chairman Mike Poor.
Present.
7 present.
I'm present. Thank you. Item number 2 is the approval of the minutes. There are no minutes. We'll approve those at our next meeting.
Okay.
Just want you to know that Lisa has been killing herself. She's the behind the scenes person that's been taking up slack with the treasurer. She was probably the only one who knew how to do the payroll and such and payables for our retirees. So she's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, plus training our new deputy clerk. So just thanks, Lisa, for hanging in there. I appreciate you. You guys know she's the most diligent person in the world. So
Keep her air conditioning going good.
yes.
Make sure the electric bill gets paid.
Yes.
too.
Item number 3 is the approval of the agenda. There are no deletions, so need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 4 is audience comments.
Would anyone wish to speak this evening? Evidently not.
Chairman's comments, just try and stay hydrated and in air conditioning. For the next few days anyway. Okay, moving on to item number 6. It's the approval of the payrolls. These will be from June 10th, 2022. Need a motion in a second for that, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
O'Kane.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Bashard.
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
Poor.
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item 7 is approval of the vouchers payable. This will be a special run from June 8th and the regular run from June 14th. Need a motion to put those on the table.
So moved.
Second. Any questions on the payables? Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Chairman O'Kane.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Bashard.
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Poor.
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Moving on to item number 8, information technology, Administrator DeSalvo. We have 8A, a resolution authorizing the purchase of the Dark Trace MDR security monitoring from the Information Technology Division, Fund 020. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved. Second.
Questions?
What is it? And are we going back to school again?
First of all, thank you, Chairman, for allowing me to bring this item to the
Mhm.
Public Works Committee. Due to the time
Agnell, I'm
sensitive.
not sure if your mic is on.
Can you guys hear me now? I'll just go up there. Yeah.
I don't hear myself. Can the audience hear us tapping?
No, there's not. They're not on.
You didn't buy this Dark Trace soon enough.
As you
Test,
can
test,
see, we
test.
obviously need to make sure they're as secure as possible. While we're waiting on this, you all have probably seen around the country, there have been a lot of cyber attacks in some cities, and other, governmental entities have held complete hostage. And I just, want to say thank you to our IT team for being proactive and putting in multiple layers to work hard.
It's a rolling brownout.
I
They turned
know.
off the power.
Do we have
They
a
don't turn
cassette?
off the
Oh,
air.
Do we have a
I
different
like
recorder?
that. She's telling the IT guys, jiggle something. Good.
You turn it off and then turn it back on.
Yeah, what, can you reboot it? Been hacked.
I have the handheld.
Yeah, I think something blew.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna see a lot of that if it doesn't calm down. So,
Yeah, there's
I can hear it now, kind of. Hello, testing, one, two, testing.
Testing. This isn't on yet.
mm-mm.
Testing.
You tapping though.
I can hear me
myself
tapping
now.
too. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
It's not on
there's
there.
It's very
Can the audience hear us through the speakers? No.
We'll all have to speak up.
I'm just worried about the recording of the,
Yeah.
That's the
Meeting.
most important part, actually.
Blame it on the weather.
Testing, testing.
That's what we just said. It's hot. That's what the problem is.
We try it out.
muffled.
Hello. You can hear that a little bit.
Somebody out there who's tapped into the Facebook thing right now. You hear us going, "What the heck is that?"
What's your water temperature up to now?
It's 80s, holding at 86, but I didn't get in today, so I don't. Almost 2
Testing,
months.
testing.
Still feels good being wet.
Jim had his deposition.
Test.
He said it was lots of fun. Yeah, I know.
We've been there.
Wonder if Steve was on.
What?
Steve, you know anything about PA systems and stuff?
There's a meeting here.
Turn my recorder.
Ooh, that seemed loud.
Testing, testing.
There we go.
Test.
Test. Now it's on good, strong.
Should I read through everything again or not?
We're good to go now, Chairman.
Should I reopen the meeting, Lisa?
No, we can just pick
Okay.
up because the other was.
Okay, so we're on item number 8, information technology, Agnew DeSilva Administrator authorizing the purchase of a dark trace MDR security monitoring from the Information Technology Division 020. Okay, can we remake the motion in the second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
So thank you, Chairman, for allowing me to bring this to the committee. So every now and then we do this gap analysis in our cybersecurity posture. So what we found out was there were some gaps in our network systems that we were not getting visibility into our systems. So we did some evaluations and found out that we need something better to kind of get a good handle on what's going on our network system. So the dark trace provides us the AI that can give a full visibility to our system. So that's why we're proposing this solution.
and this would be 63,602 each year for,
Each year, yes. And the reason we're signing a 4-year contract is now this is their like end of fiscal year for the vendors, and they're all going to increase the prices. So if we did it now, it's going to save us $123,000 over 4 years. So that's a discount they provided us. Originally, it was $94,000 a year. So after the negotiation, they brought it down to 63. And that's why they wanted a 4-year contract. The good thing about this system is like it's AI based, so they build models. So every time there's a new tactics that their adversaries use, it builds a new model, and then you don't have to do anything in our systems. It's automatically deployed. So versus maintaining it stuff, they do all the maintenance and everything on their end. And it's autonomous response, which means if there is a threat and if it's at 2:00 in the morning, they will quickly shut it down and wait till the next day till we arrive and help us kind of remediate and whatnot.
questions?
I didn't hear your response about are you going to go back to school again or not?
After this one, Alderman
Hopefully
Bouchard.
not.
But we'll still have to go to school periodically as
Yeah.
new things come along.
Sure.
So
Okay, see no questions, roll call, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Swans,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
4,
Yes,
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item information?
Thank you. No, that's all I got.
Okay,
Thank you, John.
thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 9, Public Transportation Director Bees. 9A is a resolution amending the 80A paratransit service agreement with Chris Rowe Mass Transit District in regards to the fuel provision. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
So as you know, we have a contract with Chris Rural Mass Transit to provide our ADA paratransit transportation. And up to this point, we've always had a provision in there where we provide them with a little bit of fuel. And in return, we subtract that dollar amount from their invoice that they send us each month for the service. Well, the state has slowly replaced their vehicles, and they only have one vehicle that is a diesel vehicle, which is what we provide to them. And so they're essentially paying $300 a month for fuel that they really don't need. So we want your approval to just go ahead and take that provision out of the agreement so they can save a little money and it'll be a little more in line with what they have.
As long as the price of diesel doesn't go up.
Oh, it did.
You did. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Swan,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9B is a resolution approving the update to the procurement and purchasing policies and procedures for Danville Mass Transit in connection with the Federal Transit Administrative Grants. Need a motion to put that on the table?
So moved.
Second.
So last year we had our triennial review with FTA, and we had several findings in regards to our purchasing policies, which our purchasing policies are a little different from the city's purchasing policies. But to bring them a little more in line, we took some of the provisions from their purchasing policy and put it in ours. And I needed to make a few revisions. So the purchasing policies that you got with your packet that you originally got, I brought tonight a revised version of that. And you'll see on pages 2, 11, 12, and 14, some yellow highlighted areas. But it's all in regards to checking out vendors to make sure they haven't been debarred or suspended from through the state for services. So that's the only changes from the original policies and procedures that I sent. But the ones that were in the packet were the ones that were written for the triennial findings and that satisfied the findings.
So Director, we're just essentially adding an extra protection to make sure we don't do business with companies that have been defrauded.
And we have that in there, but it's a different threshold dollar amount. Yeah.
And this is pretty common for different, being funded federal and state money. So, yeah.
Other questions, comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9C is a resolution approving an American Rescue Plan Act spending plan for Danville Mass Transit funds. Put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
So separate from the city's ARPA funds, DMT also received ARPA funds, which we talked about already in the past. We hadn't done any planning with those funds yet, but FTA is encouraging us to get those written into a grant. So we have $523,501. And we have several projects that need to be done around the building. So it all hinges, these are in order of what we need. And number one is the concrete work in the back lot. So what else we do with this grant is going to be contingent on what the cost estimate is on that work. And we haven't gotten that back yet. We've had a couple of vendors come and, take a look at it, but we haven't gotten any cost estimates yet. So that's why I rank these in order. And then that way we can, if we have money left, we can go on to the next one. If we don't, then we're done with our ARPA funds. We may be done with our ARPA funds on number one. I'm not sure.
Just a little bit of context. The director was telling me that essentially when they built that parking lot, that they tore down an old building and kind of put the pieces into the basement. And then just, now anything we do like that we're going to possibly build over, we put a certain fill and stuff so that it doesn't shift and that you don't get things coming back up through the ground. And essentially this was done long ago enough that didn't happen, and things are coming up through the concrete parking lot essentially. And you're getting, sometimes nearly a foot of shift, which can bust axles of buses and our team members' vehicles and, any citizen's vehicle come to do business with the district. So.
And I will add that over to the right, I put that we do have some 5307 money and some CARES money available if we need to add to it in order to get this done. But this is pretty critical. I think we need to get this done, whatever it takes. So.
Got the funds as well.
Questions?
Roll call, please. Yeah.
Alderman Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9D is items of information.
The only thing I'll tell you, I got an email today that our 4 new buses in California are done, and they sent us some pictures, and we'll probably be getting a call within the next couple of days that they'll bring those to us. So they deliver those to us, and usually somebody gets in that bus in California and they drive like a crazy person to get here because that saves them a little bit of money. So they contract with Gillig, and so we'll probably see those within a week or so, I think.
Do they have to fly back since they've all?
They do whatever they have to do. Some fly, some take a train, some take a bus, whatever saves them the most money, I think.
Director, so if we're willing to pay for it ourselves, could the alderman and I fly ourselves out there and take a group trip cross-country trip?
As soon as you get your CDL, you can.
I used to have one. It lasts.
Me too.
Yeah, I used to have one. Yeah. Jim will drive. He's take out his.
I have to decide this month whether I want to keep it or not, which it's something I hate to give up, whether I use it or not.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, that's beside the point.
Just renew it and you're good to go.
Okay, moving on to item number 10, Public Works Director Carpenter.
Hey, did we have?
That was item for
Oh,
me.
that was items information. Sorry.
Information.
Yeah, 10A is an ordinance approving the purchase of real estate for community improvement. Need a motion to put that on the table.
So moved.
Second.
I'll take it.
Okay,
Yeah, so the ordinance in front of you this evening is the proposed acquisition of 901 and 903 Oak Street, along with 207 West Fairchild, which is essentially the properties on the intersection of Oak and Fairchild. I believe they used to be a children's furniture store and a children's clothing store. Mr. Latinovich and I have been back and forth for probably the last year and a half, 2 years. We got to the point of having it appraised about a year and a half ago. Just couldn't come up with a realistic price in terms of the appraisal. But he called me about a month ago. The buildings have been stripped completely raw and said he's ready to move away from them. So what you have proposed is to pay 2/3 out of the Midtown TIF, which would be property acquisition for potential economic development in the future. I think this is really good, valuable land. And the only reason we have to use 310 funds for the other 1/3 is due to the property being out of the Midtown TIF district. So the same will go for demolitions. Midtown TIF for 2/3, 1/3, 310 fund for demo.
What's the address on that again?
901, 903 Oak Street. So one of those is a vacant lot. One of them has a structure on it. And then 207 West Fairchild Street. It's directly across the street to the east from the Carl parking lot.
Used to be that kid's clothing.
Right, that's what.
They're pretty
Resale.
sizable.
Yeah.
It's pretty sizable
Okay.
structures. Yeah.
Seemed like we did something there a couple years ago.
Yeah. We actually did all the due diligence for this site a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So we got all the bases covered at this point in time.
Because I thought we had. Yep, okay.
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Swans,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 10B is a resolution amending the fiscal year 22-23 budget for Community Development Block Grant Fund 106. Need a motion to put that on the table.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Okay, it's that time of the year again. I can't remember if everybody's been a part of an annual action plan approval or not. Each year at a different random time, it seems, the Department of Housing and Urban Development makes a annual entitlement allocation to the city of Danville. We are still considered an entitlement community. Can't give you the answer as to why. We used to think it was the MPO. We are no longer going to be considered an MPO, we think, but we believe we're going to remain to be an entitlement community and continue to receive CDBG funds. So this year they allocated a little bit more funds than last year, which is $1,018,850. I did send, I believe, early last week, the annual action plan to save some paper in the packet. I think it's over 250 pages, if I can recall. So what I did was I just broke down the proposed funding for this plan, which just to make it clear again, we pass a 5-year consolidated plan that actually lays out the year by year by year annual action plan funding amounts. Not to say it's not changeable. We do have to go out for public comment every year to see what the public wants to see out of this CDBG action plan. So we can change it, but it does take a substantial amendment and city council approval to amend the consolidated plan before passing the annual action plan. So what you see here is just, it's going to be pretty common amount for all 5 years unless change is requested.
And just to give you a background, this is how the money that we're able to use to help people, low to moderate income people who are homeowners redo their homes. A portion is for demolition and also for homelessness and other projects. But the whole purpose is to serve low to moderate income individuals. So it's always interesting to me. I hear people complain about Edward Street like folks who struggle economically shouldn't have anything nice. First of all, that's a fallacy. Everyone deserves to have a good neighborhood. But number two, the money we use to redo that street can only be used in low to moderate income areas. And so it was a good project. And if you haven't, I would encourage you to go and drive on Edward Street sometimes. I'm pleasantly surprised at the developments that have happened since then. You still have 1 or 2 bad houses, but people have painted, people have, put on siding, you have folks that have put up fences. And so it's having the designed impact of helping improve a neighborhood. And it's good to see that fruit. And the neighbors are so thankful too, and so appreciative.
And to that end, I guess I'll add a little bit more since it is a substantial amount of money. And we do help a lot of people. And I don't think the public really does see that very often. Another large infrastructure project, since we're still operating at grant years from 2016. So we will be draining up to 2019 of all grant years with this new public infrastructure project, which is Beard Street. I believe that letting occurred a couple of weeks ago. So Beard Street and then another big road project in that area will be occurring next year. So really improving the infrastructure and also in terms of blight. The $250,000 of this, this goes along with the side lot program that you guys approved 2 years ago. Now, we have to demolish homes in low to moderate income areas. So not only is that the impact, that's not good enough for HUD. It has to have an after use for low to moderate income households. So that side lot program that we passed, we're collecting income information 2 potential applicants for side lots. And if you meet that requirement, then we can sell you the lot in those low income areas, 310, stuff like that. We don't need to collect the income information. But so we're also giving low income individuals basically free land for a side yard, which is pretty cool.
Is there going to be a test for us on the 250-page report? Do we have to answer questions?
No, I think I mentioned it in the email that whenever that system produces the plan, it is very clumsy.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Vice Chairman O'Kane,
Yes.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 10C is a resolution approving CDBG annual action plan for the program year 2022. I need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved. Second.
Yeah, so it's just going to reflect the action plan. And as you can tell, I believe we're only amending 1 line code. So that means we did pretty good on putting the budget together this year on the guessing game on how much money we're going to receive.
Okay. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 10B is a resolution awarding the contract for the Lynch Road Special Service Area 3290 East Main Street Detention Basin Maintenance, bid number 700. Motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, this is what is commonly referred to as the Blue Cross Blue Shield Pond that is just west of their structure on, out there on East Main. They will be dredging this pond and using the soil as a buildup to the south of it. It'll be spread out, so we'll avoid a big issue there. If you recall, this has been talked about for about 5 years to have this done. So this is a project that Sam's just finally been able to get ready to be completed. So
Quite a difference in bid prices.
yes.
Okay. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
10E is a resolution awarding the contract for bid set number 701, Midtown TIF sidewalk improvements, and awarding and amending the fiscal year 22-23 Fund 117 Midtown TIF budget. Need a motion to put that on the table?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'm just going to read you some of the notes that Sam left for Dave and I. The map that you're seeing with this is a general location, and he wrote down that some of it may be intermittent work in these areas throughout the summer once this is bid and let, ready to go. It will promote access to businesses, improve the aesthetics and appeal of the area, and promote walking and ADA accessibility within the TIF itself. There was a question from an alderman about where areas 1 through 3 were. And from my discussions with the assistant engineer, Eric Childers, he said that these are numbered only in correlation to a page number that gives more in-depth information about each section here. And pages or sheets 1 through 3 were literally just introductory sheets. But as I explained to the alderman, I will have Sam reiterate what's going on when he returns. He was a little bit more vague on this one with us, but this will involve curb removal and replacement. This will involve sidewalk removal and replacement, and new sidewalks in areas that currently don't have some sidewalks, as well as doing away with old driveway entrances to property that are no longer in use or are just empty lots now.
Questions?
I don't know how to ask this. When does this work scheduled to start, whatever?
I believe this summer. I'm not
I'm not 100% sure about that. Sam wasn't real clear on that. And that's just another thing we'll have to get with him on.
I believe so.
Logan, Logan thinks so as well this summer.
Oh, I worry about the Labor Day parade it's incidental, but
About what?
Labor Day parade.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we would not interfere with that. It's something I would talk to Sam about. Certain projects like this, we've had this discussion with him before over things because quite often they interfere with solid waste collections, and we're trying to work closer so that the contractors understand when we have to be in certain areas. And the Labor Day parade, we don't want them working on Vermillion Street during that for Labor Day. So
Just
Good thought.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Hoare,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 10F is a resolution approving an agreement for engineering services for improvement of Boiling Springs Road and amending the fiscal year 22-23 Fund 107 infrastructure development budget. Need a motion to put that on the table, please?
So moved.
Okay, once again, reading off of his notes, he said here that from start to bid, this should be ready by the end of 2023. There is an estimated right-of-way acquisition from 4 different properties, but it's currently unknown what those costs might be. He's looking at, there will be a curb and sidewalk on the south side of the road, and it will actually end at west end of, let's see, wait. He's got it'll start at the west end of Lowe's and go all the way to Lake Boulevard itself. No, he's got down here, that contradicts. It would end at Bayview Court on the south side. The rest of that is actually empty land to the west of Bayview, down to the lake. The construction costs would probably be in the $1 to $1.5 million range, and he's going to seek grants or funds grants along with using funds from the MFT and the infrastructure development line items. And once again, this is just an overall road improvement as well as sidewalks and curbs to help with drainage. And I know this is out of most people's area, but when I go up there to check on garbage routes, there's always somebody walking down this road, coming from Lowe's or wherever they're coming from. So putting a sidewalk in that area will be really beneficial for everybody.
And Boiling Springs Road itself has been pretty bad for
Bad shape. Yeah, really is. Wasn't designed for the traffic that's on it.
Nope. Okay.
Oh, yeah, and then he marked here that the construction would likely start in the spring of 2024. He doesn't have an estimated time on how long it would last, but I would imagine it would be one season. That by the fall of 24, it should be done.
Oh, go ahead.
I only had one little concern, and I think Sam's going to have to almost answer that. You looking at that? You look at the city limits. The middle of that road is out of the city.
Yep.
So I don't know how are we going to involve Newell Township or the county or something like that? Or what's going on?
Yeah, he'll have to talk to him, but I believe that
The road is ours.
The roadway, our right of ways, it's all our right of way.
yeah,
Okay.
there's section of housing that's not in the city limits there, but the road itself is considered
There's a big area that goes
back to the south.
back to the south. Yeah, that's not in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the road itself is
Is in the city limits.
Our city maps don't show that.
Other questions? Alderman Bouchard.
Yeah, why are some of those houses not in city limits? I'd heard a story similar to that, but I don't understand
That
why.
used to be the divide
Just
for
the way it
District
is.
118 and for Bismarck School Districts, middle of that road.
So that area is not paying taxes into the city?
the north.
That side.
Alderman Bouchard, the north side does not. That's not the city of Danville. Like My parents live on Illini Drive. It's a block and a half outside of the city, just at the edge of that. But all but one block to the south of that is the city of Danville. So like you have Bayview Estates, up there on the lake, a lot of big houses and stuff there. And then you have a lot of an older neighborhood in between there and Lowe's that are nice, really nice, well-maintained homes and such. And all but like one block of that is the city of Danville. And the why, I don't know. They may have, that was probably before I was alive, but with annexation.
Annexation, yep.
Yeah, and just so you'll know, and I know this through being a volunteer fireman, is when it comes to annexation, the volunteer fire departments can fight it, as well as the citizens themselves. That when new development comes in, they can jump. It's no different than, what is it up there that the Darby's own?
Yeah.
Sunset.
No, but what's that? Devonshire.
Well, Devonshire.
Part of Devonshire, the front part of Devonshire, we have to pick our plows up. We don't sweep it because it's not in the city limits, but the backside of it is. If a person building decides they don't want to be in the city limits, they don't have to be in the city limits.
Okay,
And the garbage trucks have to drive through that front part to get to the north side.
okay.
Yeah, I found that out going through with petitions to run for office. Neighbors.
Yep.
We're in the city or not in the city.
Yep.
Part of them. Yeah. And then
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wands?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Brown?
yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
Ford?
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 10G is a resolution approving a professional service agreement for a fire station facility study and design. Need a motion to put that on the table.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we actually put out a resolution to have these engineering services give us a scope of work and a cost. We had a little subcommittee of myself and Sam, and well, you sat in on it, did you?
Yeah.
Chief McMaster sat in it, Steve Lane. We graded these, I believe there were 4 different engineering firms. We graded them. Some of the things were based on how many other fire stations they had built or cities they had serviced with this same type of service, and came up with this one as being the best overall in what they do. And what we're asking them to do here is actually go into the fire stations, talk with the firemen. They're going to use data that the fire department has compiled over the years as to where the calls are all at, how many calls there are in certain areas, and then they're going to take criteria that's in this list here, such as the 3.5 to 4.5 minute response time, and they will suggest to us where the best areas to actually have fire stations are, how many fire trucks we should really probably have, how many personnel we need to have manning that, and then go into all the environmentals with each station as well as to what it is that the fire personnel need to keep them healthy and safe and in good living quarters. So the $76,000 will get us that report. It should be compiled, I believe, within what is this already, June? I think by November they'll have that for us so that we can present it to you guys and then to the full council. And they've already told us this isn't something that you all of a sudden just dump millions of dollars in and do it like that. It's designed so that, they will also suggest, okay, you should spend $5 million maybe this year to build one new station, maybe $7 million the next year for station and a couple trucks. They're just going to give us some good overall valuable information to what the city being laid out the way it is and the population we have to go with the fire department. Okay.
Has this study ever been done before in Danville at all? in
Not
its
that I
history?
ever recall, no.
And I've never heard of anything like that. It's just, I'm just wondering why I understand why, but
Well,
it's,
this was kind of led on to Sam simply because there are cities everywhere doing this. I mean, he's got all that literature in his office, but we can let you see everybody's literature and what they say. And this is going on all around the country. We all know that we closed Fire Station 4 out on East Main Street.
right.
Now we also know we're building a casino. We've put in there's a FedEx building going out there.
Definitely.
Is the quickest response time from Griffin Street out there? Or do we need a fire station out there or somewhere else back out on East Main Street?
Okay.
They're going to be able to tell us, in a professional opinion, what the quickest response time should be and how many personnel should be at that station in order to do what needs to be done. So
It's just interesting because I remember the talk about closing the station on Main Street. Some of these things were brought up about different businesses or developments in Danville, and then closing that one. Now we're doing this study, so it's just interesting.
Well, the other reason why we're doing this now too, Alderman Brown, is because we have some major issues, like some maintenance issues and structural issues that we need to address. For example, our fire station up north, it's really not sized appropriately. You can barely get the engines in there. We have some failures of different things, like our training tower at the main station and some other big things. So we're going to have to decide soon to either spend a lot of money to fix what we have or to make it correct. Or if not, before we spend all that big money, is this in the right place? If not, I would hate to spend spend a lot of the taxpayers' money somewhere where we really know now we need it somewhere else. So I think that's the other big thing is we're looking at a lot of, probably, could be $1 million or more of maintenance stuff. And so before we spend that kind of money, is this the right place?
Okay, and the other question is, and this is what, 76,000?
yes, for this.
Is this a feasible amount? I mean, since it's being done all across the country for our area, is this 76,000?
I think there was one lower at 69, but they didn't have nearly the credentials that this company did. I believe it was around 69 was the lowest, and if I'm not mistaken, the highest was like 103.
Okay.
So,
Other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
yes.
Swans,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 10H is a resolution approving an agreement for professional services related to the demolition of Breezy Towers and the former Vermillion County Courthouse Annex. Motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, this is using Farnsworth Group, which we have done a lot of work with in the past. Sam did some research and we didn't find anyone else that was qualified or seemed to be willing to do something like this for the city. And what this will do is they will plan, and the big thing they will assist us with is the bidding documents for this building. This is really something that is far out of the scope of anything that any of us have ever done in this city, period. That, as everybody says, well, that's the biggest building in the county. Well, anybody can say, I can tear that down, and we could say, okay, go ahead, but that's not what we want. We want this done correctly, safely, and in a reasonable amount of time. And by doing this for us, it will allow us to continue doing what we're doing and not spend hundreds, if not 1,000 hours trying to figure everything out. They're professional. They've done this for other big buildings before. Then they will also assist us with managing the project once it gets started, so that myself or Sam or Tracy or some other engineer isn't spending countless more hours over there trying to coordinate with the individual doing the tear down. That's not to say that some of us won't be seen there periodically assisting or asking questions or making sure things are getting done correctly, because we will. But we will also have another set of professional engineering eyes on the entire project.
Oh, Vice Chairman O'Kane.
Well, just one little comment. We talked about the bus problems and the concrete and stuff. And that, I helped build that building when I was a young man. So let's make sure this site is developable so we don't have to have a problem. You know, there was earlier
Yeah.
estimates of just filling the basement in and walking away from it and stuff. Let's hope we don't.
Yeah, you can't do that. We already know that. No, there will have to be some insight as to what the council or the citizens desire to be there, because if it's desired that it's a parking lot, it's going to take one type of fill. And if it's desired that it's going to be a building there, then it's going to probably take a different type of fill. So there has to be a little insight as to what we think we're going to do eventually with that property. It's no different than what we did with the building down there, the old Harlow Hotel. We anticipate that eventually that'll be a parking lot of some sort probably, so we filled it with special fill. That doesn't mean you can't put another building there, and it's still safe to do so. It's just that it's got the fill there now that is needed if it so desired to be a
I've built buildings on top of old Phil, and it was not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And then this doesn't mention, and I'm sure that everything's going great with the county and us as far as working together, but is there going to be any kind of formal agreement on this?
We will, Chairman. We were waiting until this appeal is done before we would enter into an official agreement.
Okay.
But yes, we are, and me and the chairman, it's been a year and some change now, met with their building chairman as well as Chairman Bond, and everyone is on board.
Good.
And Carl, that originally Breezy Towers was the same height as the annex, right? And then they added on to it way back when First National Bank built it.
Well, that's questionable. There's a book that Steve gave me that contradicts that.
Oh, is
It
it?
says it was torn completely down and built back up, but then there's pictures that look like they're just putting 8 stories or 10 stories on top of the original 3.
Well, and I was also told that the annex on the west side was built to expand all the way up to the same height as the regular Breezy Tower.
Well, and if you remember, there's already been, 3 or 4 stories removed from that side.
Has there been that?
Yeah, I know you were around then, Mike, because I remember.
I wasn't looking up, I guess.
You can see it on the side of the building where it just looks like concrete facade instead of the brick facade.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Vice Chairman O'Kane,
Yes.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 10I, items of information.
Okay, I'd like to start. First of all, I want to give kudos to the 3 semi-retired individuals working downtown. If you haven't looked around lately downtown, for 3 older employees, they are busting tail. And they are very proud of what they're doing. So I want to give kudos to them. Secondly, to Logan, his crew was able to spend the money that was given to assist the people that needed help during COVID. And because of that, he tells me that Danville is one of only 22 cities in the entire nation that received extra money to continue helping people. So that's Logan and his crew that did that. So maybe that's something to giggle about, but I think that's a heck of an accomplishment, considering that when we brought Logan on, we were under a microscope because we were in trouble.
From past
So,
performance.
Yeah, so kudos to them. And then thirdly, if you didn't see it today, Steve Lane is the IMUR, or whatever else that's called. And I don't know if there's anyone, including me, that is more deserving, and I've never seen anyone, in my opinion, listed in that is more deserving than Steve Lane. That man really cares for this community. He does everything he can for this community, and the old adage, give you the shirt off my back. I think he'd give you his shoes, his underwear, and anything else he had, if it meant that he could help you. So I can't go without giving him a tip of the hat and a salute. He deserves it.
And our own Alderwoman Teague was featured 2 weeks ago, 3
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago. I have just one thing. I want to see you after the meeting. And also, I'd just like to compliment you guys for some of the work in Ward 1 and Section Street. So much easier to get through. And because of the train traffic, that street is used a lot. So, and then, with the overpassing coming. So just happy to see that project.
That's the nicest street in Danville.
Yeah. Too bad, like I said, there's nobody living, there's no residents there.
It is nice.
Yeah, but it's nice.
I'm just gonna say it's not
It's
nice.
nice. I just want to say thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to expand upon the COVID relief funds that have been reallocated to the city of Danville. One is a learning lesson and one is just factual. So first, it's going to be just shy of $150,000 that's going to be allocated for low income, and now it's basically respond to the coronavirus, not prepare and respond, and knock on wood, but respond to coronavirus. So we'll go out for a special time period, whatever we're instructed to do, to have public comment and then give some advisement on how to spend the funds. I know that we already have designed 2 programs and software for 2 programs, so it'd be a little bit easier to do that. And they prided us on being quick the first time, so that might be the direction that we recommend. But second, while we're working through the ARPA funds, which is pretty similar to HUD dollars and the regulations and timeliness of expenditures, communities, this funding came from communities being stripped of their funds and their dollars because they didn't spend them quick enough. So that the big debate on timeliness on expenditure of ARPA funds, it's true. A lot of communities did not receive, they were stripped of millions and millions of dollars because they didn't spend them. So I think that's a very important point to point out on this.
Well, I'm excited, if we should continue on the path we did before, we would both be able to help individuals who have been out of work because of this with, possible mortgage or rental assistance, but then also businesses that have been hit hard by the pandemic would be able to apply. And we've given out lots of $10,000 for businesses and $2,000 for sole proprietors to help our, Logan, how much was it for businesses, would we?
10,000.
No, I mean, the total amount.
Oh, I believe we helped around 35 businesses in total, and I think it was roughly 750 low to moderate income individuals in rent. So it was a surplus of people that we helped.
Good job. Okay, moving on to item number 11. It's an ordinance setting compensation for elected officials proposed by Vice Mayor Iverson. I need a motion and a second to put that on the table.
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
So I can discuss now? I started working on this sometime back, talked to Chairman Poor, and he encouraged me to look further into it. So I did and came up with the way it looked like it needed to be done. Our corporate counsel designed, because I'm not going to write an ordinance, he designed the ordinance so we fit all the legal parameters. The pay for elected officials can't be changed anytime in their term. So we have to do the salaries for the entire next term, in Danville's case, 4 years. So that has to be established before the new term begins. My proposal will be for those who are elected in April of 2023. The major change, as you've seen in the document you got, is for the mayor's position. The mayor's position, I think, is way underfunded considering responsibilities and demands of the job. We pay the mayor's position in Danville basically like it was a part-time job, and it's not. Responsibilities are every day, 24 hours a day. The demands for the mayor of Danville are always increasing because of state and federal demands. There are natural disasters, demolitions, as we talked about tonight, economic swings, and hey, even a pandemic that the mayor has to deal with one time or another. the mayor of Danville's paid far less than other professionals in Danville. Look at some of the recent things that have been in the newspapers, and you see that the position for mayor is way below where it should be. The city budget we've been going through, the theory we've been saying is you keep good people by offering good wages. And I think the same should be done with the mayor and with the treasurer. My proposal is to increase the salary, is not a vote about a specific mayor or treasurer. This is not a Ricky Williams issue one way or another. I think the mayor has done a commendable job, but that's not what this is about. This is the mayor for the future, the treasurer for the future, the alderman for the future. I think, the hardest part of getting the mayor's salary, obviously, is that we started so low. To get it up to what it should be, we have to take a big jump. And that's what's going to be the first year is going to be the hardest one to do. Then it's kind of balanced a couple of thousand each of the 4 years. But I just thought that, after all the things we've expected, this is just common courtesy. The jobs that are being done, we should pay them for it. Now, the aldermen are even a more different position. We can only approve half the aldermen. The other half have to be 2 years later when their term would be starting. So only the 7 who would be elected in April would get the amount that I've suggested. The other ones would have to come up with something in 2 more years. We might have been able to put something in this proposal saying, here's what this, and then in 2 years we should do this, but the attorney felt really that's not a good idea. We really should have them separate on their own, we vote for them by themselves in a couple of years. So if we approve this, then we have to remember the rest of the aldermen 2 years from now to get them into the same loop. So those are my thoughts. It just occurred to me in the interest of fairness and what we've been seeing, what we've been going through the last few years. I think way back when I was here the first time, they put the mayor's salary at not a really high rate because no one really knew what to fund the whole thing as when they started the change of government. Now here we are 25 years later, and we've seen what a job it's become. The kind of paperwork, the 200-page documents we've been talking about today that has to be approved, that's not what it used to be. And I think it's become more and more of a job every year. And no, the mayor did not know what salaries I had put in here. He didn't see these until it became a document that went into the agenda. So this was not his thoughts. These were my thoughts. And had some other people who kind of helped with some thoughts on it too. And so this is where I am with it. I'll be glad to answer any concerns anybody has. Other than that, it's.
I was just going back to when Les was on the council.
Mhm.
You were like, there was a finance committee, there was a public safety
Yeah, there were 5 or
committee.
6 of us.
That each, and you got paid $75 per meeting as an alderman.
Mhm.
I believe that's how, which became the 225.
Yeah.
I've been an alderman since 2001, and it's been the same pay for aldermen since before that. So, I mean, I don't think the 300's out of line at all, but like you say, that's only for the 7 will be elected in April.
Well, and the idea of being paid per meeting quickly died because we realized that most of the work the aldermen do is not at the meeting.
Right.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm just, when the change of government came about and the consent decree says 14, and now we can only, as far as the pay, that all included all 14, and this is only the 7. And I heard you say you talked with corporate counsel about this. That's the only thing that.
The reason being, I could not vote myself
Your own
a
self.
raise while I'm in office.
Right,
Yep.
right. Yeah, I understand that.
Well, I mean,
Just,
Half of legally, Alderman Brown, if I've understood correctly, we have to set 180 days before the election. You have to set the salary for the whole time.
Mhm.
So that's why for me and those who were elected, you, Mrs. Pickering, others that were elected with me, we couldn't change our salary during this
Right.
time because by state law we can. It's
We
not a
can,
matter of even a desire to. And that's that's the one thing. I mean, I don't like this at all either, but unfortunately, legally, we can't change it. You know,
Right.
for those.
I was just concerned with, is this going against the consent decree?
No.
Okay, that was my question.
Other committee, well, I would go through the committee first.
Okay. I'm just confused on the verbiage because it says, fiscal year salary. So the $300, that's not for the year, that's per meeting, correct?
No,
That's per
Or-
month.
Per month.
a month.
Okay, that's where it's confusing because the mayor's salary and the treasurer's salary is stated as yearly. So I believe the automatic should show that as well.
Yeah, because it shows
It
fiscal year
says
salaries.
$300, so that's not a year. That's
That's only for a month.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a month. It goes from 225 to 300.
You're right. That probably does need to be.
Yeah,
Or
but
maybe
yeah, she's
clarify.
right. Mhm,
So then it would be 3,600
mhm.
with in 300 per month increments. I'm sure that that's just a typographical error. We can adjust that for to read 3,600.
Any other committee members?
Well, I'll say something, Mike, if I could say it proper. Whenever I got involved in being a councilman, someone made the statement to me about, you don't get paid much, you need to vote yourself in a raise. I will never vote for me a raise, but I know other people, as the mayor and some other individuals, are more than should have that raise. And even the councilman, what we get is not enough, but I will vote against it when the time comes because it would be voting myself a raise also, but I will be voting
No,
yes for you all.
No, you would be in on, we wouldn't be included. Anyone just elected would not be included in this race.
Yeah, you have to be elected to get this.
Yeah.
Yours would be
So,
in 2
so
years.
this time would not include you.
So
In
I
2
would vote
years.
yes for you all, but when the time comes to vote for myself, I would probably vote no.
Council Simon?
You wouldn't be voting for yourself. You're voting for, in this case, though, all of you will be voting for the aldermen and women that will be elected next spring in the off-year consolidated election. If you win, you win. If you run and you win, you win. But every 4 years, there's, well, actually every 2 years, there's an aldermanic consolidated election. But you're not legally voting for yourself, even though you may run again and you may benefit from the salary. In 2 years from about now, as we approach the next consolidated election, off-year consolidated election in 2025, I believe it'll be, you'll be voting again for the other 7. But
The
of course,
positions, the 7 aldermanic positions.
Whoever wins those elections.
right, but that salary will not go into effect until after, when you're sworn in, I believe, May 1 or about May 1.
I understand that process, okay.
Yeah, that's the important thing to remember is you're not voting for any person in any of these. You're talking about positions.
Yes.
You're talking the position of the mayor of Danville. You're talking about the city treasurer. You're talking about aldermanic positions. The people, as we've seen, this is my first term here, and I'm like more of the way up already in seniority because of all the people we've added. So the faces, the names change quickly here. So you're not voting for people, you're voting for positions.
Okay.
Alderman T.
Was there any research done or data collected that helped us arrive at the numbers that we used?
Not specifically. I mean, I've read the things that have been in the newspapers and about what some of the other salaries are, but I had no specific data examining like the treasurer of a city the size of ours. No, I did not.
That was my only question. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just would like to say, I think, was it just before this last election, 4 years ago, that the mayors and, wasn't it increased then?
That's, yeah, those
Yeah.
positions have been increased over
Right.
the years.
That's right.
They were increased from 73, the mayor's salary was to 75. And I believe the treasurer's was from 42.5 or 43 to 45 as well. And then it stayed the same the entirety of the term.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought we'd bring that out because she mentioned data, and so that's thought it would be a good time to mention that.
And that is something that I've done differently in this suggestion is it used to be both the treasurer and the mayor, they'd give them a flat salary and that's what would be all 4 years. Other people, that doesn't happen. You get salary increases each year. So I thought it was more fair to bring a little bit more each year during the 4 years instead of one flat amount. And particularly in the mayor's case, it's going to take 4 years to build it up to the level I think it should be at.
Any other discussion? Will be approving this with that change in the language to 300 per month?
It'll be 3,600 per year.
3,600 a year.
Right.
Mhm.
That'll be taken to the full council if it passes.
Okay.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item number 12, there is no need for closed session. Item 13, item for information, anybody?
I passed them out to you this evening, but we've got the Vermillion County Fair coming up the 22nd to the 26th. Go out there, enjoy it. I think they've worked hard to make it a stronger fair and make sure we support them. And as I said too, they've added a rodeo, and from what I understand, it's going to be a professional caliber one. So if that's your thing, go and check them out.
Okay, and also, I could mention next week, but while we're here, the municipal band is Sunday nights at the Lincoln Park. So if you're not doing anything, just go out and enjoy them. I do.
Okay, anyone else?
There's a ball game going on tonight.
Yeah, but
Bands are playing. I gotta go.
2 for 2.
we're kind of late. Yeah.
2 for, yeah, she's watching players.
He wants the $2 beers.
And Steve Lane got the flag sticks.
She has,
Oh, how
she has players live with.
Oh,
She's a, what do they call that?
What?
She's one of the sponsors.
Summer mom.
She's a summer mom.
To 2 of them.
Okay, haven't satisfied the agenda, motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
He's just going for the.
I have mine.
These are yours.
I think they had an extra copy. They had an extra set here.
Okay, yeah, because I was checking with,